Hey Model Pals, in this video I'm building MPC's Wild One for the Saturday Night Short Track group build hosted by Scale Model Outlaw and the Blue Ox Model Shop. I started the build by marking off and removing the mold seams on the body. The Saturday Night Short Track group build rules were that the model had to represent something you might see at your local circle track, dirt or paved. I have this kit in my collection and it fit the bill. Big thanks to Mike and Jason for hosting this group build. I'll be sure to link their channels in the video description so you can check them out after you finish here. This kit has some flash that needs removing, and in some of the tougher spots I scraped seam lines off with a blade. After I sanded the whole body with 400 grit, I moved up to 1000 grit. I finished off body sanding with 2500 grit. To complement the red and yellow decals I plan to use, I wanted a dark purple body color, so I primed with a few coats of black, anticipating that would lead to a nice deep purple base coat. However, the instant I shot the Mr. Color purple, I knew it wasn't going to turn out how I wanted. This purple has amazing coverage, but even with the black primer, it was too bright for my liking. So I did one full coat. I wanted to make sure I kept everything even, after that I mixed in about 25% black to the purple, and the next few coats created a much nicer eggplant color that I was much happier with. The exhausts had horrible seams I didn't really want to go about fixing, so I found some self-adhesive tint and bag patching material that had a nice texture, and I cut that into thin strips to try and make header wrap. After several hours of fussing with it, I was able to wrap both exhausts, but this took quite a bit of time. I figured deck tan over the black base would emphasize the texture for the header wrap and match the color of the real stuff decently well. What do you think? I've never tried this before, so let me know if this worked. I painted the insides of the wheels black before gluing the faces on to avoid any white peeking through later on. I wanted to try applying chrome paint to still wet gloss black and see what happened. It certainly didn't come out chrome, but it did create a neat gunmetal type look, maybe almost like a dark chrome effect. You'll see in a bit when I paint the lug nuts. lug nuts add 5 horsepower. It's science. I was not impressed with the MPC decals. Some of them were out of register, they're really thick. The roof number actually had a hole in it, and all the decals were pretty stiff and crispy. I added a lot of contingency decals. Maybe this guy or girl was the favorite every Saturday night at their local track. I started with 2 light coats of clear to seal the decals, waiting about 10 minutes after each coat. Then I applied 3 heavier wet coats, again waiting about 10 minutes between each one. After letting the clear coat cure for about 5 days, I wet sanded the body with 6,000, 8,000, and 10,000 grit sponges. I used cutting compound and polish to finish off the body after wet sanding. Even though this is supposed to be a local short track car, I still want it to be shiny. Let's just pretend it's a fresh build for the upcoming season or something. I'm no good at dry brushing. I always add too much paint, but luckily panel liner saved me on these gauges. I assembled the cage with it in place on the floor so it would fit in the slots better after I was done painting it. I dropped the seat in real quick to ensure the steering wheel column angle was right before I glued that bar in place. I went with yellow for the roll cage and the tube framing because I figured it would complement the graphics well. I accidentally knocked off an exhaust, but I re-glued it on later. The roll cage padding was painted flat black, and a chrome pen was used to pick out the rear view mirror. The wheels must be glued on for this kit, so I used 1, 2, 3 blocks to ensure they were straight while the glue cured. It wouldn't be a scale effect build without screwing something up. The MPC instructions made it seem like the body just drops onto the cage at the end, but annoyingly I never noticed before how flared my kit's body was, and it interferes with the exhausts. I felt like an idiot, but I figured I'd see if I could squeeze the body and glue it in place as a last resort. It didn't end up working out, so I guess this will be permanently displayed body off. Oh well. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed and will consider subscribing.